I had to talk about this last year, beginning last year, and all the details of the story. But we're gonna talk about this. It was Latino, light skinned Latino man who is a bishop at a Catholic church in Newark, New Jersey. They was gonna honor one of the Afro Latinos, Roberto Clemente, at the mass. Y'all know he was like the Latino, Afro Latino, or Latino Jackie Robinson. And anyway, they was honoring him. And what it was, the bishop of the diocese in New York, this cathedral, Sacred Heart's called, was doing this. It was Saturday mass, and this camel skin brother came out with a suit. And he had pink or white suit on, and that's the pimp. Pimp was named Charles E. Miller. Doing communion, taking communion, whatever, came out and punched him in the face. So when I saw this, again, I'm like, who would do this mess? Well, there's a lot of talk about this, and they're saying that the Bishop Cruz, Mayo Cruz, um, was um, was messing around with his thoughts. You know what thought is? Talking about, yeah, one of his prostitutes, and he owed money to the pimp. So the pimp was mad, didn't care about, and the pimp claims to be a reverend, by the way, on Facebook. The pimp has mental issues. His own family say he has mental issues. The pimp even don't like Barack Obama. Okay, yeah, the pimp leaded a war on Christian, and he made his own interpretation of the Bible. Second Peter chapter 1, verse 21, through chapter 3, 15, 17. Okay, you know, I'm an ex-Protestant, so I know this. Okay, so he have his own prophecy, but he's still pimping. Okay. Anyway, he comes up to the bishop and punches him. And I'm going to give you my intake on this. My thought on this. I don't feel bad for either the bishop and definitely not the pimp. Okay. As a Catholic convert since I was 13 years old, and I get very tired of this. And let me let you know, not every priest is a sex offender. Okay. Not every bishop, just like saying not every black person is a thug. Not every Hispanic person thugs under cartel. Not a white person going to the KKK. Okay, let's be real. Not every Jew is bad. Okay, I want people to understand this. Okay, and listen, we talk about process. I'm talking about people belief system in process. Let me differentiate. Not every Protestant person is bad. You have good Protestants, but as an ex-Protestant, when you have personal interpretation of scripture and making their own interpretation is distorted, by the distortion, many do wrong things in the distortion of scripture. Okay, like for example, you had a white Protestant minister down south. Now I don't believe in abortion, but he was telling his church to go bomb abortion clinics. That's still murder. Okay, it's still, you know what I'm saying. And you still destroy someone's property. It's still a crime. It's still a sin. Okay. Now I don't feel bad for the bishop. Let me say something. One thing gets on my nerves is some of the clergy. It's like when I was in Protestant. They think that their sins is above everybody, meaning that us parishioners, us lay people, are right to be condemned. And I mean, of course, they can't condemn nobody, okay? But I'm just saying we have the right to get a extreme judgment. And the priest, this is why the sex abuse was going on, because I'm not from that old generation. You know me, as an ex-Protestant and he's a Catholic that was became in the 90s. I am not like those older people who will pass on a priest or not believe a story. First, I investigate, but still, I'll always keep my eye open. You cannot trust anybody, no matter what their religion is, even within the church. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Jesus made the Catholic Church in Matthew 16. Those keys that he's talking about that he gave Peter, those keys were from Isaiah 15, Isaiah 20, 22, 15, 20, 15 to 22, excuse me. 21st verse of that chapter says the Father. Here means where Pope comes from. Papa means Father, okay? So those keys of the house of David are the same keys of the house in the kingdom of heaven. Remember the old covenant, new covenant? Okay. Peter went to Rome. First John 5:13. The church is here, or she is here in Babylon. The code word of Babylon is Rome in the New Testament, not the Old Testament. So remember the idea of going to the Gentiles because the Jews rejected them, okay? Rejected Jesus. So the idea of go to anyone in the Gentile who's open to hear the message of Jesus Christ. Why we're called the Catholic Church? Well, later on, that church that Jesus founded in Matthew 16 that Peter, brought it to Rome, was given a name by one of the disciples. I think was a bishop, Saint John. The Saint John. It was many Johns in the Bible. Okay, there's one John. The one from the Gospel or one from the anyway. One of his disciples, one of his people under him as a bishop, named Ignatius, Saint Ignatius Antioch. He gave the name Catholic, means in Greek word Katholikos. Katholikos means universal because the last verse of St. Matthew 28, where it says, preach all nations and baptize all, that means universal. So that's why in the Christian denomination, we don't do the Christian denomination until the 1500s, when Martin Luther came in, okay? All these churches would not be here, okay, was for Martin Luther, those who were Protestant, okay? Even Jehovah's Witnesses and those who are Mormon, those who, they don't consider themselves Protestant, but they are. There was only one church, one body, one Christ. Okay, that's what the Catholic Church believes. It gives the Orthodox. They didn't believe they are true from us as well. But the true church is the Catholic Church made by Jesus Christ. Yes, they're bad people. Matthew 13 tells you there's weeds and wheats. The weeds are the bad people. The wheats are the good people. People are trying to do, of course, knowing all that good, but the ones that's trying to go to heaven, meaning that once they obviously know it's no. Matthew 7 said, "Once the law, go to heaven." Well, what was Saint John said in chapter 3, 15, 16, whatever. Excuse me, when it said born of spirit and water, that means baptism. That's why Jesus said to you, um, to endure to be saved. What's it? Endure or what's the? It's the temporary word, meaning those who go through the process. You're saying you'll be saved. Meaning that through these trials and tribulations of us, many of us who are humans with sin, repent from the sin. We go and we're striving hard to get. Of course, you can work your way to heaven. However, you can lose your grace. Okay, there's grace that saves you. Lose your grace, and that's where you're not accepted to heaven because the law don't go to heaven. Remember, St. John in the Apocalypse, which is Revelation, said not everyone, not the unclean go to heaven. So I remember as a Protestant, or be around Protestant when I left Protestant, people who were doing sinful things, and said, "Well, I'm saved, and you know, I'm saved, whatever. I'm saved, and you know, all this other stuff, and then go do some sinful things. Oh, God already forgave me. I don't, you know what I'm saying? And I'm like, huh? You know what I'm saying? But people don't understand. And you to do to the end will be saved. Yeah, meaning that you go through all the process because it's not. It's a temporary. It's salvation temporary. People do sin. You saw the other Coco Bishop that touched Ariana Grande's breast. Come on now, okay? You think that God will let that person if he's not sorry for what he did? Come on. So no one knows who goes to heaven and hell, but only God does. But at the same time, we have to. There's mortal sin, there's venial sin. Well, all sin is death. That stop misinterpreting Paul's word, because in 1 John chapter 5, I think it's 15, 17 or 13, it said that not all sin would be all sin is evil, but there's some sin that's not deadly, and that's no lie. Go read it in the scripture, okay? So that's we go mortal sin, venial sin. And you say, well, why did Paul say the death? Well, that the word purgatory means to purify. When Saint Peter said in his first letter that in chapter 3, not mistaken, or chapter 2, where it says Jesus will be put in, Jesus will go preach this, the prisons, the spirits in prison, the one disobeyed God when during the day of Noah. Okay, that prison, spirits of prison, is purgatory. Okay, it's not named in the Bible, but it's described in doctrine. If you know what I mean. Okay, so that's the reason why it means to purify. So those who have venial sin, who are not accepted to heaven, why people pray for me. And one thing is, well, why we don't understand it? Because the five books that Martin Luther took out, the Old Testament, so-called Apocrypha. That's the whole reason why y'all Protestants don't understand that. Okay, he ate the Bible. He changed words around talking about Martin Luther in the 1500s. Can I stand him? I ain't talking Martin Luther King. I'm talking Martin Luther, the white man, the German man who led this Protestant Reformation in the 1500s. Even I was tracing my roots, and it was the 1600. I think this is my 12th or 13th grandfather who's white, from England, Suffolk, inside to Suffolk, England. That's where my roots come from. My grandma, who was Irish and English, I traced that into Suffolk, England. Okay, James Bacon. He was a reverend right after the Reformation, and that's the one I was very angry when I was doing my research, because I do not like personal interpretation of scripture. I don't like people making their own, because one thing about people don't understand, when you make the Bible your own interpretation of scripture, you're putting your own personal ideas and biases and all that and mixing with God's word. Okay, that's you get my point. Only the church does that. Yeah, there are priests in the division who do that, but it's called schism and heresy, which is also false teaching. And then they can do that. They can be excommunicated. A lot of us don't know that. Okay, so that's why. That's why I'm glad. I don't go to mass because I don't trust these priests here in the Houston diocese. Which if I was a pope, I'd get rid of them. And when I told one that the pope, they got scared. Yeah, because you don't talk to me crazy. I came from that probably from fundamentals where they talk to you crazy and very rigid and they whip you know what I'm saying. And when I see that mess in here, and I will tell the pope. And actually I did email the pope about that too, about the hearing Houston. Yeah, for real. So they changed their behavior in these parishes that I named in that letter, that email. Then it was because of me. Okay, now the one going to say about the old people, the older people, the baby boom generation gets on my nerves. I'm a Generation X. Just like in the Protestant fundamentalist churches, they think that any man with a title most likely is right. I don't believe that. I grew up in the 90s where I would question your behavior. If your behavior is bad, I don't care. I'm not going to sit here and see you as a good leader, okay? So I do it on a job, wherever I go. Even if the police was killing people right now, everybody's defending them because they have titles. Excuse me, there are bad people with titles too. Jesus talked about that, okay? Ask the people who killed Jesus was the one who had titles, okay? I don't understand how people don't miss. Well, they said authority. Stop misinterpreting Paul's word, because even in the book of Acts, Peter said, "Love, trust God rather than man." Okay, so, and if you are probably trustworthy, supposed to prove to be trustworthy, St. Paul said in First Corinthians 4:2. Okay, so they're not supposed to be trustworthy. Any steward, put my mom and daddy, any steward, I don't trust them. Okay, a lot of people understand that. So that's why I don't look at the bishop in this way. That man should be gone if he's out there having not to use improper language, thoughts for sale, prostitutes, or you know what I mean, okay, and not paying the pimp, because that's a bad behavior. Remember, St. Paul talks about a leader's behavior is important in second and First Timothy. Okay, chapter 3. Okay, I don't understand how people, but mostly the old school people, and I get tired. I'm sorry, those who are older than me. You messed up our generation. I call it like it is. You baby boomers and those who from the popular generation, you messed up. Y'all thought y'all was always right. I never examine yourself, never discern yourself to see you're the wrong. Okay, and that's why people in Generation X and those younger than me, we didn't respect you because we knew that your behavior was wrong. You didn't want to admit it, but you want to correct us. And okay, um, but that's the reason why. Okay, so I don't do not give this bishop any respect anyway. He does not need to be a bishop. He needs to be going and resign or be kicked out, be excommunicated for have this negative and immoral behavior, just like those who molest children. And sexual abuse cases do go on regarding children do go on in Protestant churches. And I'm glad that Philip Jenkins wrote the book Priests and Pedophiles. He's an ex-Protestant, became Episcopalian, and he, for some reason, he defends the church, but he's no longer proud. I don't know why. But in that book, he put out that actually the news media program, fake news. When we talk about fake news, I already know about fake news, but due to reading this book, part of the book back in 2002, when Hesby Scandal came out, and the news media propagate this that it's only a Catholic problem, when actually it's a Protestant problem here. Most Catholic, most Protestant, most people who clergy that's been arrested by sexual cases regarding children, both boys and girls, are Protestant ministers. Okay, not Catholic priests. They are the minority in the legal department. The news media promoted because, first of all, we live in a white Anglo-Saxon Protestant country. Remember, Thomas Jefferson was very anti-Catholic. The idea, remember, you know why Maryland is called Maryland? Because of the Blessed Mother. Remember when the Catholics came in those other 13 colonies, they were persecuted by the Pilgrims. The Puritans will burn their houses. A lot of folks don't understand that. Yes, burn their houses and you know, understand that the reason why later on 1600s white, now I'm talking about the Spaniards, but this Spaniards there was a Protestant then in 1492. But 1500s when the Protestant Reformation happened, a lot of these white Europeans came from Europe to the United States because they was getting persecuted amongst not only other Catholics, but also because of the Protestants who did not believe the same interpretation of the Bible. Okay? Remember when the Puritans, the Pilgrims left England and went to the Netherlands where it's legal to smoke weed at, okay? And Protestants very legal down there in the Netherlands, okay, Holland, or whatever it's called today. Dutch, okay, Dutch people, man, okay, they was getting persecuted there among other Protestants in Netherlands and Holland. So they came over here in the Mayflower and then they persecuted the Americans. Then if you had red hair, they believed you was a witch. Based on their interpretation, yeah, for real, they'll try to kill you. And they had to say the witch trials. Meaning those women were not witches. Cause you know what I'm saying? So we understand. I mean, like, and when I'm talking about people talk about the Catholic Church, to my aggravated people who are not pure black, dark skin, light skin, if you're anti-Catholic, and you're Protestant, you need to do your research. Where do your white DNA come from? Now, not all mixing came from rape, but in the Protestant Anglo-Saxon South, it did. Majority of the time. Not all time, don't get me wrong. There was an interracial relationship, but the idea of the one drop rule was to make a baby out of slave, and then the condition of the mothers, the children were slaves, and they'll be the next slave master's slaves, which is their father, grandfather, or whatever. And these people went to Sunday school, Protestant, Baptist churches, Methodist church, down south. My question, and then they start the Bible to make slavery legal. And have these black churches that are Protestant in the South, okay, have a very slave-minded mentality. That's why we don't progress. That's in all Protestant churches that are African Americans in, but that's the reason why, and that's why they favor white people over their own, because that the grandparents in. Do you understand that's why, you know? And when I became Catholic, I'll go ahead and admit that mentality went away. I started to see a new me, okay, and I didn't have this inferiority complex, okay, that I learned from not only from white people in the school, but I learned from those African Americans who carried this mess. Okay, yeah, there were some Catholics who were African Americans in light skin, dark skin, Creole, whatever had it done, but I looked at it. I remember going to the time when multicultural was alive, when I was trying to become Catholic. When I got my first man, he's an Italian American. He had an attitude, I can stand him. Before him was a light skinned Creole man. Everybody thought he was either white man or Hispanic. You know what I'm saying? And he had African in 1992, I forget, before he left and went to St. Bridget's in Los Angeles. He had African, I'm talking about Kente cloth. Even the black and red and green garment. So when I went to Mass, even though I wasn't Catholic at the time, I was shocked. And we had priests from Nigeria, you know what I'm saying? When I went to Bible school in 1992 at the Catholic Church near my house area, these were some sisters, okay? I think one of them was from New Orleans. She was darker skin with straight hair. The other one was real light skin. She could pass for Hispanic. The other was dark skin with a jerry curl. I mean, she had a juicy jerry. She was a sister, none. With a juicy jerry curl. I ain't gonna lie about this. She had a juicy. She was dark skin with a juice. This sister had a juicy jerry curl. I forget back in 1992, some sister. Remember Frank K in the movie Sister Act 2. Remember he told her she a sister talking whip over. Yeah, well I already been saying that a long time ago before he did, because I was saying with some sisters. I said, oh, I'm so glad to see some nuns being sisters. Sisters. You know what I'm saying? I was so happy to see that. Yes, I was. I was so happy to see these nuns They're from New Orleans, and some went to St. Mary Church in the Fifth Ward, in the hood, Fifth Ward, okay, in other parishes of African American in the hoods and in Houston, and these were some sisters, yes, yes, sir, yes, ma'am. I was happy to see these sisters be sisters. Y'all talking about white women being no, baby. I seen sisters being sisters. Okay, okay. You know, one drop of black DNA nuns. Okay, and I remember the older one. Well, actually, all of them were elder. But the one with the dark skin with the curl, she had a juicy. I'm not lying. Underneath that habit, she had a juicy Jerry curl. It was so juicy. I don't forget. Baby, I don't forget that back in 1992. Okay, she had a juicy Jerry curl. Okay, juicy. Okay, wasn't dripping, but she had a juicy one. Okay, I don't forget them today. Okay. And the other one kind of a little darker, but a little lighter than her. She was darker than me. She had naturally straight hair. And she was Creole. And the dark one could be Creole too. Don't get wrong. And the bright one, everybody thought because and when she told me pictures, she did that. So she did ministry in around Hispanic people. But I guess everybody thought she was Latina. She's a Mexican woman, but no, she was a Creole, a light skinned sister. So I didn't have that. I mean, I thank God I had that exposure at a young age so people were not stereotyped. One thing I'm glad about my channel, I like the debunk stereotypes. So my experience in the Catholic Church is different. I was an altar boy. I never was raped by the priest. Actually, that white priest, when the Creole light skinned brother priest went to Los Angeles, that Italian I cannot stand. That's why I would not go to church because I'm sorry, y'all don't have an attitude. I'm trying to respect the church, God's property, and also trying to not have any mess go to my Protestant grandmother, okay, Baptist grandmother, okay, because I was gonna go off on that man when he had attitude. I didn't care about what's on that collar. I'm looking at your attitude. You act the devil. You don't act like no doggone godly person. You was an angel. But I never forget when we had back in June '93 after I had joined that church. I never forget I was an altar boy and we had a big gathering. We had cake and everything at the parish. I don't forget this. And we had white bishops and priests. The white priests that came visited the church, were very nice. The black ones too, the African ones too. I seen real dark. I ain't trying to be color struck. They were real dark Africans from Nigeria. Real dark, pure black. Okay. I met those different. I remember again back in 2001, right before 9/11. Yeah. I remember was it I was just going. I was being serious about my faith then, and one of the brothers, he was from Mississippi. He was a brother about a little bit darker than me. He wasn't dark, but he was like a caramel, milk chocolate looking brother. He was a priest, and he was there for a while, and because that's what after my white priest had died. Yeah, I think he had died in 2001. Now, not a Italian. This was an Irish one then. The Italian one left. Oh, thank God he left back in. And I stopped going in '99 because I ain't like his attitude, and I never forget some of the parishioners were parked in the wrong area, so he's putting like tickets on these folks called yes. So the children, bad ass children, okay, one drop black DNA, dark and light and brown, all different shades, okay. One of them a little bit lighter than me took the thing off. Hey, put that back. You don't tell me what. Yeah, okay. That they got hood with. Then the old lady he put the ticket on for the parking in the wrong spot. Now she real bright Creole lady, okay? You will see. She said, I don't care. That's what she said. I don't care about that old white man. I'm not lying. That old high yellow sister probably try to compare us, okay? She came out that doggone thing. I'm glad you did take it out. I don't care about what that old white man said. I'm not. Yeah, baby, you talking about some church mess, okay? I said that's. I said I'm not going to this parish no more until that man leaves, cause I was 19 then, and I no when he left. That's when I came back from the Irish American priest came in from up north, and that's when because I could not stand that Italian American one. I could not stand that bald head thing. I swear, many times I wanted to cuss. I'm not gonna lie to you, cuss that man out. I didn't care about that dog collar. I'm looking at the negative attitude. It's demonic, okay? Yes, you can. You're right. You cannot play evil in evil, but I'm sorry. No was not scared. I wasn't scared. I remember I'm from the 90s. I'm not from that Papa Doors in that old baby boom generation where they loud stuff like that. Children be seen, not be heard generation. We spoke our minds, okay? You know what I'm saying? We told it like it is. You disrespect us, we let you know about it, okay? So I said, no, let me keep the peace. Let me get out of here. And then later on, I start going to other parishes in Houston. But because I didn't want to leave the church that I changed religion to. And actually, when I found out it's the church that Jesus Christ founded. But no, I'm not going to lie about that. Yeah, baby. Yeah, it was so much drama. I'm like, I'm coming trying to go to church for some peace. I don't like no ratchetness. I'm trying to use the word ratchetness, but today I can say it. The ratchet, I don't want no ratchetness in church, baby. I no, don't you bring no ratchetness. No, if I'm trying to worship God, and our highest form of worship, y'all, is not prayer, it's communion. Okay, it's a sacrifice. Thank you. Do it and mirror me. That's our highest form of worship. Okay, all right. So if I'm trying, even if I'm not taking communion, but trying to read the scriptures in the missalets, if I'm trying to do whatever I can in prayer, while we have kneeling things in the pews. If I'm trying to do that, I don't feel like hearing no rashness and seeing no rashness, baby. I ain't trying to do no, baby. That's for the streets. That's when I'm saying I was doing rashness at home. The last thing I want to deal was some rashness in the church. Okay, so that you see why I don't know how to go to. If it's gonna be some rashness in the confessional room, it's gonna be a rashness in the church. I am not going because I'm gonna get ugly. I'm gonna get tempted to act ugly, and it ain't gonna be pretty. And I don't want to go to jail. Okay, y'all. And I'm bipolar, as you know what. Okay, so that's the reason why. Okay, until that demonic spirit comes out of the house of the Lord, then you might not see me come back. But other than that, I do be praying for these people to get out of those positions in the church too. Yes, I do. Because they deserve to have that position. I don't care what some gullible person said. But let's get back to the subject. Okay? So, I don't feel sorry for that bishop. He should not be in ministry if it's evidence, and I would not be shocked. Don't get me wrong, there are deranged, crazy people who come to church and attack people. However, as more sources are coming out, they're saying that that brother came to church and popped him in the face because he owed money to the women, to him, to the women he was having sex with. That should not be in church. I don't care. And he can forgive the bishop all he wants. Remember, he can forgive the criminal all he wants to. But both of these people wrong. Okay, Reverend, whatever name, Charlie, I forgot his name. I forgot Charles E. Whatever. I forgot his name because I'm thinking about this. I'll remember later on. Okay, y'all don't talk about. Y'all do your research. I'm not gonna sit here and defend him either. First of all, if I start to get some rations, I might act ugly. I want to act ugly in the house of the Lord. You don't go to the house of the Lord and punch somebody in the face. Okay, I understand there are bad leaders in the church, both in Protestantism and Catholicism. Okay, however, but see, this man's a criminal, so therefore I can't talk about that. You crazy? You trying to call yourself reverend, but you can't talk about him having sex, whether it be adult or child. But you just as guilty having sex and selling sex. So I'm not here trying to throw the stones or anything, but how y'all get these titles as reverends and fathers and priests and pastors, whatever, ministers, and y'all doing this thing, but y'all don't think that and that's what that said about this earlier. So we'll go back to what I was trying to say. I don't like this attitude that parishioners get the more judgment behavior than the people who are in the cloth. That's what gets on my nerves because it's the opposite in the Bible. The Bible does say in the New American Version of chapter 3, and I'm not perfect, I know this, but somebody who's more holy, you start bringing this up and stuff, and it has to be sound for a person like me saying it, who want to judge me. We not all presume to be teachers, all be judged strictly. So if you judge strictly as a teacher, Why are you doing this? You know God's gonna judge you strictly. You cause a scandal. You throw into the sea. So if you are a minister or you're a priest, and it goes to both the pimp and also the bishop, you shouldn't be selling no sex or buying sex or doing anything like that. Y'all know y'all place, but y'all crazy. Both y'all crazy. Besides, the brother off his medication, as I saw the courtroom of the sister, his cousin was saying that he be on medication. She threatened those reporters who would bother her. But the bishop is crazy too. I'm calling it. Hey, get mad at me saying go St. Paul criticized the Pope Peter. Okay, so you can criticize leaders. Actually, it talks about that in Second Timothy or First Timothy. It keeps them in line when they rebuke. Okay, leaders supposed to be rebuked, by the way. And when they get rebuked, it keeps them in line. They're fearful of doing anything like that because they're in position to teach. They're not in position to go out there and be a regular person. Of course, us regular lay people should not be sinning either. But when you have a authority position, you're supposed to set an example of that. Okay? You know what I'm saying? You're not supposed to be out there doing what the worldly things do. You're supposed to be leading the flock and you know what I'm saying, and living clean. But y'all, we live in a culture, and then we'll go back to that old baby boom generation that believe the children should be seen, not be heard. People. That's why this sex abuse scandal was going on, y'all. Okay, them passing the priests around. If I was a pope or if I would have some type of leadership, you would not be passing none of them folks be put in jail, be put in prison, and I make sure you will not be in doggone ministry because you know your role as a leader. It's not your doggone possession to be doing that. And I think this is not a Catholic or Protestant problem. It is a pedophilia problem. Just like they were doing a story about these women, these fire crush teachers, and male teachers too, but these women becoming teachers and they having sex with the boys or girls in school who, you know what I'm saying? And I always, and this is why I laugh, it's not funny, but I laugh because I always heard from the Hoko little baby boom people, your teachers always right, they don't lie, when, you know what I'm saying, and blah, blah, blah. When you have people who teach their children that, that's the reason why all this, it opens the door all that. So I'll never get when my family would hear the news and they'll say, "Oh boy," and then we talking about a teacher having sex with some boy at school, and I end up laughing. Let me explain why I laugh. Because they was the main ones telling me that your teacher always right, don't do no wrong, and you can be wrong and they don't right. And I'm like, nah, they human just like anybody else. Stop putting, you know what I'm saying? Stop putting on, you know what I'm saying? And when they said, I said, yeah, and I laughed because it was like, I told you so. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You always have to be critical to everybody. If I was seeing my kids, I'll let them know that your teachers are not always right. Your dad ain't always right. The Bible said that if you love your children, if you love your parents and anybody else in your family or yourself more than Jesus, you're not a side for him, Matthew 10. So if I'm a parent, I'm supposed to set an example and even admit that I'm wrong so they can do right. Okay? Not sitting here thinking my wrong is right because I have a title, but these people teach this mess, and that's why all this stuff goes on. You know, y'all don't look at people from humans being specter, then they title. They supposed to prove themselves to be trustworthy. And that's what the Bible say, not you put trust on them. They supposed to prove themselves to be trustworthy in 1 Corinthians 5:2. So my question, 4:2, excuse me, 4:2. So why y'all not teaching that? Well, when I was coming, here we go with the older people. When I was coming up, we didn't have the, why me all these older slaves about your age who was sexual abused. Dark damage, sexual abuse. Okay? Who else? Um, Oprah, you know, Vanessa Williams, Maya Angelou, Maya Angelou, she was sexually abused. Okay? And it was always by some trusted family member or somebody close to them. It wasn't always a stranger. So they trust. They didn't open when they told her they thought they was a liar. You get my point? I don't know. Let me tell y'all something. I don't believe in that. That you should look at somebody with a title. You get these people, police killing folks. Y'all shocked. I laughing at y'all because y'all always put this old fake image of who they are. I look at people's character. And if their character is rotten, they're no good as a leader. No one's perfect, don't get me wrong. But to sit here and overlook things, especially when they're doing detriment things to you, you gonna overlook that because they have a title? Nah, I don't do that. No, 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 no. Even on job, you say you wrong. It's your employer. No, no, I don't want that to be my dog employer. My boss, they have an ugly attitude. They can try to take it out on me. You know what I'm saying? And that's that's no, I don't want that. They're gonna hurt you later on. A lot of folks don't realize that, but well, he didn't do it to me, and she. They come up with this arrogant thing, but when it happens and get over, I'm sure they want to admit they're wrong. A lot of folks don't want to take accountability of what they wrong, they want to take accountability. Well, that's my point of this whole video. I don't like it in our environment, especially in America. I don't know about other Catholic churches outside the United States, but American Catholic churches who bow to Protestant belief system. Because Protestants, when it was taught that, oh, the bishop's always wrong, the preacher always wrong, he never wrong. That what got Jim Jones let them people into that cult, and and drink their poison purple Kool-Aid, because they didn't bar the question. The Bible said test everything whole was good. Okay, I mean, how dare you question God? That's a man. Like everybody was bashing of Eric Grande. I know Eric Grande, and it was wrong with it. The old short dresses church. Okay, and so was the bishop for touching her breast. Both of them were wrong. Shoots. You know what I'm saying? And even though that she was wrong wearing that doggone dress, he is a bishop. Know that he has higher judgment on him. You touch nobody's breast, really? Okay, I don't put up past these people. Remember I told you when I became Catholic, and that white priest that I did not get along with. Many times I wanted to go off on that dude. I don't care about that title. Your title, if your character bad, I don't want to listen to you. Shoes. You got an ugly character. I must learn from the devil. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know, y'all. Let me let you know. I do not. You gotta prove yourself to be trustworthy. Even St. John said in the Revelation of God, what chapter was that all apostles will be tested to see if they're reading right. And I think it's the second scandal in the Catholic churches, which been big news about it, is the ones who are not guilty of this, who are priests. It's going to test them, see who's right, to prove to the world who's right. Because one thing that I see this is, and I'm not sure, not no psychic, I don't believe no psychics is wrong, I believe psychics, but it seemed to me God's trying to show people that this is His church, but He's kicking those nasty ones out. And I'm glad He is. We don't need nobody teaching us about Jesus Christ and you nasty and you children and dopes and that. We don't abuse and speech. I don't need to have that. But He's cleaning His house. He's cleaning His bride before He comes back to earth. We don't know when He coming. Only God knows. But He cleaning those people's house. He cleaning His house. Excuse me. He don't force out the house. Those nasty ones and those who were there with it down in Philadelphia. And it did take a long. It was back in the 60s. Once again, because those people believe that anybody can do no wrong. They have a title. Always, all authority, always right. All human authority. No, baby, a human authority can make mistakes too, do wrong. It's just like you can. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and I agree with that, baby. I'm sorry. You're not gonna sit here. You're not gonna sit here and try to tell me that human being he better prove to be trustworthy. When I see some Junior's nice person, don't get wrong, people can fake and be nice and do wrong too. However, it's better than someone that's riding ugly to the core or to condone it. So I don't feel sorry for the bishop, and I don't feel sorry for the pimp. Both y'all should be locked up. You know what I'm saying? Both y'all, okay? And he should be out of ministry, and you know you should know better. Both y'all. Anyway, y'all. So that's all I gotta say. But it gets to my nerves within this Catholic in America, coming from that Protestant belief system, that no man who has a title is wrong. No, prove that. Make them prove right. Anyway, y'all, have a nice day.